Welcome back to Talk of the Town on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com.
And we welcome you back to Talk of the Town for this Monday, September the 21st. I'm Gary Stevens. Third Monday of the month, we spent our 10:30 segment chatting with one of the two men who represents the Lake Shore in the state Senate. He is first-term Republican Roger Victory of Hudsonville. He joins us via the Zoom connection. Roger, good morning. Hope all is well with you and your family.
Good morning, Gary. I just want to make sure that I'm coming through okay on Zoom this morning.
You are doing just fine. Thank you very much. The bandwidth is definitely proper, and we're all ready to go. And if you have a question for Roger, no, you cannot join the Zoom connection. Why don't you just call us at 395-1450, 395-1450. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on in Lansing with Roger in a few moments, but while I have him here, I will say that Roger is also the owner of Victory Farms, a commercial farming venture in the Hudsonville area, and I do have some agriculture questions I want to pose to Roger. Most notably, we've got cool temperatures, dry temperatures. How concerned are you that right now we're just not getting some of the rains that we need to keep the good fruits and vegetables going?
Yeah, well, that was quite shocking, the low temperatures that kind of took us by surprise. Even on our farm, we've been seeing some telltale signs of some frost damage, and we haven't seen that for a number of years. And also we have some more maturing of the crop needs to be along. A little bit of rain more rain could be beneficiary in a proper amount. We've had a fairly dry growing season through the Ottawa County area and Allegan County. Some areas to the north had ample rainfalls, but as we like to see a little more precipitation, but in proper amounts. Don't need to see the monsoon seasons like we had last year. That affects our lake levels, and our lake levels are all-time record high, lakeshore erosion issues and this and that. So as we talk agriculture also blends itself into other issues. But overall, we had a fairly decent growing season with issues, but considering all the other issues going out in 2020, I'll take it.
Now, the thing is, though, and it relates a little bit to the COVID-19 situation, are farmers having issues trying to get the temporary labor that they normally would be getting for harvest right now?
Yeah, one of the biggest issues we had in West Michigan and throughout the state of Michigan, we grow it, but we also process it. And the biggest, I call hiccup in the system, or where it kind of got hit a roadblock, is at our processors. And it seemed to be they could not compete with the unemployment stimulus program. One area is a lot of the agricultural processors are even located a little bit to the north of us. So trying to get that seasonal workforce that may have been laid off and how to compete with those robust federal dollars coming in along with the state dollars. And that's where we've been seeing some of the biggest issues that came out through the COVID experience. And how do we go from there? Lessons learned. But yeah, that was quite problematic. We had some issues at the farm level, but the farm level did not seem to be quite as severe. Getting it harvested, not as problematic as getting it processed.
If you got a question for State Senator Roger Victory, he'll be happy to answer to 395-1450, 395-1450. Not only is Roger involved with agriculture as head of Victory Farms in Hudsonville, he's involved with the agriculture sector in Lansing in terms of legislative issues. Roger is also involved in the appropriations situation as well. And the end of the fiscal year is coming up at the end of this month. Roger, how concerned are we about getting fiscal 2021 off on the right foot on October 1st. It took until September 30th last year, and the governor had 147 vetoes to keep the government running. Let's hope we don't have to go through that again.
I must say, this governor does create a budget process, creates a very interesting budget process that I did not see occur in the previous administration. So serving on appropriations in the Senate and also my prior experience serving on appropriations in the House, the Whitmore administration has taken a different approach to budgets, waiting till more the last minute versus under the Snyder administration. Usually those were kind of wrapped up by June. With that said, I do see light at the end of the tunnel. We worked hard making this happen last Saturday. I know I started Zoom conferences at 7:30 in the morning, and it was later in the day for our final Zoom conferences on that Saturday, and made great progress. One of the frustrations I have with this process, we're trying to do, let's say, 2 months of work within a 2-week period of time, sometimes 2 days period of time. I challenge an administration, let's not repeat this going into next year, because we're going to have a little more constrained budgets. We made some processes here to make these budgets whole. I don't agree with some of the areas from how the administration came about it, especially some of the departments. They use some accounting gimmicks and tricks to get these budgets balanced. They might be a one-time option, but there was lessons learned under the Granholm administration, and you cannot totally rely on accounting gimmicks to get these balanced budgets. There are times we have to make true cuts. I advocate for these cuts. In my budgets I proposed through had the true cuts in. Many of them were followed through, but there's some aspects through some of the departments and negotiations I felt they took the easy way out, and I will continue to challenge them in the next budget cycle that we have to make these real decisions and not just using accounting gimmicks to get a balanced budget.
Looking at it from the outside, well, me being truly outside, but you outside of the administration, Roger Victory, do you get a sense that perhaps everything was put on hold because, hey, we got to deal with COVID-19. We got to deal with COVID-19. It's almost as if they dealt with the outbreak first, and, you know, as somebody would say, well, we got to be able to talk and chew gum at the same time. Maybe this administration's having problems doing that. I don't know.
Yeah, well, COVID-19 did present us with some real challenges. But with that challenge, we were kind of somewhat, well, not somewhat, we were prohibited from talking to the departments. There was an embargo on negotiations early on in this process, which just creates timelines that get very compressed. I believe in open dialogue. That's my style. And I would challenge the administration, let us not repeat the process that we just went through. Let's continue to have robust discussions early on. That way we don't have to come to the 11th hour and creating decisions that sometimes aren't in the best interests of the constituents in Ottawa County and or the residents of the great state of Michigan. So I lay that challenge out to the administration. I'll be there to willing to have discussions and negotiations anytime as we go on the new budget process for the 2021-22 process. And so again, lessons learned, but also I want to highlight to these departments that we just cannot use these fund shifts or accounting gimmicks to fill the potholes. This governor was so highlighting about road funding and these components about not doing pothole filling. Well, she's certainly doing that in this budget process.
Now, by the way, if you have a question for State Senator Roger Victory, he'll take it at 395-1450, 395-1450. That leads to a point that we've discussed before, and I've discussed with some of the other lawmakers as well. Because of all the attention dealing with the outbreak, some of the other issues sort of got through the went through the proverbial cracks, and one of them is road funding. Another is dealing with the dune erosion issue. It just seems as if like they're waiting for the touchdown pass coming from Washington, being that stimulus money to fill up the budget deficit, and that TD pass is not coming because let's just say in Washington the offensive line is as good as the Detroit Lions.
oh, let's not even go there, Gary. Whew. That's a far leap there. But yeah, that is a very true component with the real issues continue to go on. I've even got on my list in front of me 1 to 6 bills that we're navigating through the legislative body. Some of the bills are coming through the Senate. Some have already made it through the Senate and the House. But real work has to be done in those areas. And one is the high water issues. We've been on the forefront of that, have been negotiating with Eagle, have a bill in front of committee, and has made it through the Senate, waiting on the House. and trying to get that final language from that we can come to that common ground with Eagle. And my frustration is it just seems they use COVID as an excuse for not being able or have staff or even on-site visitation to see these issues at the lakeshore, and using COVID as a kind of a blanket to hide behind to address these real issues. So again, COVID's a real issue. We can address that, but I challenge these departments not to use it as a shield or a blanket to hide behind and neglect their duties to handling these real issues, such as roads and lakeshore erosion.
Good morning. You're on the line with State Senator Roger Victory.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. We received a resolution in the mail from the House that they wanted to designate next Thursday, September 24, as a day of prayer, fasting, and humiliation. I was wondering if the Senate had anything to do with that also. I'd like Roger's comments on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the call, Roger.
Yeah, I am really glad to see the House proceed with that resolution. Each chamber has their own resolutions and the capacity of doing so. I think that is something that our nation needs, our state needs. So I appreciate the caller bringing the highlight to that, and I will be looking forward to see if we are going to bring that out on the Senate floor, and actually we'll bring that forward in my discussions this week. But I think this is something that is good leadership upon the House as bringing this resolution forward and focusing on some of the true needs at the nation level and national level, also at the state level.
395-1450, 395-1450. One more thing, and then we'll take our break. By the way, we will have should have State Representative Brad Slaw join us next Monday at this time with WHTC's Talk of the Town, and hopefully he'll be able to illuminate on that topic and other things in the lower chamber. Let's get to a call real quick, Roger, before we get to our break. Good morning. You're on the line with State Senator Roger Victory.
Hey, good morning. Another question. Why isn't the unemployment offices considered essential? I have not gotten a check from unemployment since April 25. I'll hang up and listen.
Thank you very much for the call, Roger. It's something that you and majority Republicans in the House and Senate have been dealing with big time.
A huge issue. The ineptness of this administration and how the unemployment agency handled this situation is alarming. I personally, in our office, well, I shouldn't say personally, but our staff in our offices have handled over 800 cases dealing with unemployment. So I challenge the caller here too. I'm going to leave, I'll give out our office phone number and leave a voicemail at that message dealing with unemployment. It's 517-373-6920. And I'll repeat that.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. 517-373-6920. And as we've been whittling down on these issues, this caller is like others. There's single mothers, hardworking single mothers trying to support their families, have not received their unemployment benefits, and it's been a too long period of time. And we have, along with my other colleagues in the district here, as Representative Brad Slaw, Representative Luke Merriman, and Representative Jim Lilly, and also Representative Mary Whiteford, our offices have done yeoman's work dealing with this because of the failure of the unemployment agencies.
Around these parts in Holland, there are many motorists it's going to be a little inconvenience for the week because the railroad crossing for the trunk line, the spur line, I should say, heading out to the Heinz Pickle plant is being repaired. The crossing on Pine just north of 7th, which has been a bigger problem. A couple of crossings in your neck of the woods have been taken care of, but another one, let's put it this way, let's get some WD-40 on the crossings on M121 Chicago Drive, just north of that, Cottonwood, 12th. They need some work too. And also the very busy one on Port Sheldon and Chicago Drive too.
Yeah, Gary, this is the CSX line that we're referring to. The traffic across those crossings continue to increase as Iowa County's population increase in traffic too. So this is something we do keep in contact with the railroads, and I was kind of taken back by some of the delays that occurred. I don't know if they were COVID related. I hate to say everything has to be COVID related. Still trying to follow up with the railroads. We have close relationships with their contacts in Lansing, and this is something that it's about safety. So the railroads are very concerned about their crossings and those areas, but the condition that number of those crossings on the CSX line through Ottawa County, it wasn't just the hazard of the train, but it was just the hazard of literally going across that with a vehicle, let alone a motorcycle. So I'm glad to see some of them are taking place, but this is something that we will be having a meeting with them here, and I think in the month of November, as we always meet with the railroads at that point in time, and that is on my list. So a number of the constituents have called. We did the 48th Avenue crossing did take place, but as you get more toward Georgetown, there's some other crossings in desperate need of repair, and I believe I'm just kind of shocked that we lost this whole summer and they weren't taken care of in an earlier fashion.
Let's get one more call before we button up the program today. Good morning. You're on the line with State Senator Roger Victory.
Good morning. I'm wondering how everything in state government goes right back to Governor Whitmer. I think that you're creating a lot of division, and the more politicians I hear talk negatively about the administration, the more I'm convinced that they are the problem and not she. And I wish you would stop doing that. And if you have a legitimate complaint, an actual complaint, that's fine. But just continually slam Governor Whitmer is not right, and it's divisive. Thank you.
Appreciate the call. 395-1450. Roger, I'll give you the last word on this.
Well, as I negotiate on the budget's one area, so I will push back on the caller there. The departments were just not allowed to have discussions with us, and that comes right from the very top. So I'm a person that believes in proactive approach, a discussionary approach, and seeing once we can come to agreements on things. So my frustration currently with this administration is how no dialogue could occur, and we wait for a last moment for these final negotiations. So on that substance, that's where my criticism with this administration lies.
Roger Victory, as always, we appreciate the time you spend with us every month to chat about some of the issues in Lansing as the first-term state Republican senator from Hudsonville, represents Ottawa County. Roger, thank you very much. Let's do this again next month.
It's always a pleasure, Gary, and go out and enjoy the beautiful day we have. This is God's special gift to us with this type of weather.
Thank you very much, Roger Victory, on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.